Traditionally, you know, it's over the river and through the woods for a real country Christmas. One more way that all our American folk celebrate the holidays.
This time, it's the sound of sleigh bells jingling on harnesses as a team of horses takes Frank and Jean Casella and their grandchildren on an outing to cut the tree. You can take the Christmas out of the country, but you can't take the country out of Christmas.
Each time it's just as nice as the time before.
I think it's kind of an old world.
Well, it's a whole different feel because it's so quiet, and it's slow, and it's peaceful.
Our grandchildren and our children just take it as a, you know, everyday thing.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland.
25 years ago, Frank and Jean Casella fled the city and moved to Roxbury, Connecticut. And for 25 Christmases, they've traveled over the river and through the woods in search of the perfect Christmas tree.
I am in the woods in the spring and in the fall, and we're putting a new fence line, and all of a sudden I'll see one, and I really have an idea where there's a couple standing and so forth, so that we might be able to go back, and sometimes I forget, sometimes we can find them again.
Just having the kids with us and walking through the woods and hearing them laughing and giggling, and, you know, it's just that whole feeling of just being out there.
I can remember a particular winter that the children were young. We walked in the snow, and we went a little too far.
We got too big a tree.
We got too big a tree, and I think Grandfather almost had a coronary getting it over the mountain.
I did, it was terrible.
But it was a huge tree. You know, it must have been about 20 foot we dragged through the woods. I don't know what we had in mind. Standing in the woods, you have, unless you have a person or something near it, you can't comprehend the size of it.
So now we kind of go out and stand up and put our hand up, and we've got a little bit better
we use a little bit of gauge. We know we want one about 6 feet tall. As newlyweds and so forth, in the early days, we lived in Long Island, and it was a hustle bustle, and we kept coming to the country every few chance we get. So we decided that as soon as we could afford it, we'd move to the country. And it's been 25 years, and I admit we took half of our salary, but it's been well worth it.
Both my two girls and myself, we always make all of our own ornaments on our trees, and we've always made most of our presents. The girls are always baking and bringing gifts, that type of thing, so that we're always doing a lot of baking and cooking for a good week or so. Well, making a gift for someone, it has much more meaning to it, and it's just something that you do with your own hands, and you create it, and it's an individual gift for that person, so that it does come from your heart to do that. And both the girls make all their presents, and now even the grandchildren make their presents, so that it's kind of a tradition that carries through, that they do this. We've always gone out and cut the tree and brought it back to the house, and we've never put it up until when the children were little, until they went to bed. So sometimes this meant, you know, very late at night when Daddy was putting the tree up, and as they got older, we kind of convinced them that they should help. And we all would put the tree
Well, I can remember them in high school refusing to help. They wanted to go to bed at 9 o'clock.
And be surprised in the morning, you know.
It was getting a little ridiculous at that age, but it was fun. Then we still do it all.
We still always do it Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve is
Put
when
the
we
tree
start
up.
with the tree. Christmas Eve in the afternoon, we'll get the tree in, and
We
make
never
it a
really
deal.
decorate it until that evening. And then after it's all up, and Frank always does the lights, and because normally we've always had a big tree that went the full height, and as you get older, the tree gets smaller too, I think.
Here's to a Merry, Merry Christmas. It's good to have all 4 generations here. The grandchildren to the great-grandmother, the mother, and everyone here. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
In the meadow we can build a snowman.
In keeping with 4 generations of tradition, the last ornament is hung.
But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll
The tree is lit, and Christmas is officially welcomed.
to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland, walking in a winter wonderland.